I've been working, and we gotten a few limited reservations, so we've been busy for the last week or so.
Wonderful. That's
And we
great.
couldn't get on.
And
Well, we
I'm
missed
working
you
on that.
because we were freaking out that we didn't have a quorum a couple times. So
Yeah,
thank you.
hopefully you'll get all the minutes done so Melissa can post them. We got
Good.
one that July 29th, and the other one is just the one that we just had 2 weeks ago, which was August 26th.
Yeah, I won't be able to vote on that one
I know.
because I couldn't get on the Zoom.
Yeah, nope. Nope, but if Jay shows up and Sandy shows up, Janice is here, so they can definitely do the 29. And they
Yeah, good.
definitely can do this last one.
Yeah.
So that would be good.
Oh, okay. All right.
But it should bring.
I have to come into the Sears Town office.
Just waiting. It's a good thing you can't see the rest of my kitchen. It's a little cluttered right now.
Every time you see the news and you hear somebody in their basement or party room or whatever, I always look at their bookcase and try to read the books that they have on their
The
shelves.
titles.
Well, I would never let anybody see the inside of my house this week. So I'm facing the backyard.
You're doing
Well, this is
project?
what I'm reading.
The Beach Street Knitting Society and Yarn Club. Ooh,
Wow,
That
that's
looks
kind of heavy.
The three books.
Yeah.
is David
The
there?
3-book series.
It is? It's
I
a
don't,
3-book.
I'll his name, but I don't hear him or
He
see
said he
him.
was going away for.
Oh. Sorry to eat in front of you, but I was starving.
All right.
We don't eat supper till 8:30. So
Well, I'm sitting in the Sears Town office and we lost our air conditioning.
oh,
So come Monday, they're supposed to be here for maintenance.
oh
So
my
I got a fan going, I got the window open, and hopefully it will cool down because it's rather warm in here.
oh, I'm sure, because it's so humid today.
Mhm. We have very
Yeah.
poor intermittent internet service in my house, so I have to come out here.
There we go. Sandy's here.
Hi,
we go.
Sandy.
Hi there.
Hi there.
Hi, Sandy.
Who's that Scott fellow?
Long time no see.
Back. He's back.
What happened?
I couldn't get on the Zoom.
Oh. Yeah, I somehow wish I wasn't.
Yeah. I think that the room in the office is big enough we could still distance
Sure.
if we don't let the public in.
Yeah, I like that idea. Because
It would sure be a lot more convenient than this.
I had a hard time getting on many times. In fact, last week I had to go drive up to the town office and David set me up with a computer because I could not get on. I could not do it, even with Tom's help. Something was crazy.
I had to upgrade my DSL line to a faster speed because the line quality it kept breaking up. So
Mm.
it cost me another $10 a month. But It's nice to be able to help the town. Thank you.
Yeah.
What you eating,
Send
James?
David a bill.
What do you got good, Janice?
I'm eating chip and dip. Sorry. I was hungry.
That's we just had Kentucky Fried Chicken. Thank you. Talk about
Well-
grease.
That's, I don't cook supper till 8 o'clock, so I just had to have a little something. And I,
Poor Tom. That means
He's-
he's doing dishes at midnight.
oh, he doesn't do the dishes. I do the dishes, but he stays up really late writing every night. So we have a different schedule than most normal Lincolnvilleans.
Like a villain.
Villains.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Hey, aren't we supposed to be wearing masks?
You could wear a beanie with a propeller on the top for all I care. How's Nancy doing?
I'm fine, really
Good.
fine.
Are you in the office?
Yes, in the town office, because I can't trust my internet service out in the cottage.
Yeah, you were breaking up pretty bad last time.
Yes, yeah. So we're here.
Yeah. Gotta do what we gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
We've been having our sales meetings out under the tree, but it's getting a bit chilly, so I just fixed them up with the Legion Hall on Pearl Street, so we can get indoors out of the weather now.
Excellent,
Yeah.
Plenty of room.
excellent. Well, we attended the second open house night of the Ports of Italy down in
Did
Rockport.
you?
Oh,
What'd you think?
how was it?
It will be 2 months before we get back to it. We unfortunately had a server who was in the weeds the whole night for us, which
Oh.
was too bad. And the food, it was on what they call a soft menu. So there's millions of other stuff that they have, but it was very limited. Mine was not good, but my friends who were there, Chuck's was great. He had lobster raviolis, and the raviolis were this big. I mean, huge.
What
And
did
they
you
actually had lobster in it.
What did you have, Nancy?
Well, I always like clams and spaghetti because they have a nice garlic broth with wine, butter. I mean, herbs.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I mean, when the bread came around, I tried to mop up because good Italian food, the sauce is as good as the broth.
That's right. That's right.
And I couldn't even get it
Well,
wet.
One of my other salespeople went to, and they thought the food was bland.
Very,
It was
Really?
yes. Thank
I
God
was-
the girl came around with the pepper shake, give me
Yeah.
some
Elizabeth is on.
grated pepper. I know.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi.
Well, I'm going to try it.
You're
I got the
muted.
menu,
Yes, try it.
There you go.
and it looks beautiful.
It is.
The place looks like they've spent a fortune on the
They did.
whole plant.
Hmm.
I
It's
missed the
beautiful.
helm.
But they
You know-
have a place also in Booth Bay Harbor, right?
Yep.
And they had a place in Kennebunkport, but I guess they sold that one.
Oh, huh. Well,
I
they're
missed the helm.
brave. They're brave doing it through COVID. Restaurants closing everywhere, and here they are opening it brand new.
And
one.
they were full outside, inside.
Well, that's typical Maine new restaurant. The first 3 weeks, everybody and their grandmother tries it. Then word gets around that it's okay, it's great, it's not so great, and then it just right downhill.
Yeah,
Well, because it's Route 1, they have to give it some thought here. Are they going to cater to the tourists or are they going to cater to the locals? If they're catering to the locals, they got to get their act together.
Yeah.
Tourists don't have any
yeah, they
skin in
don't.
the game, they're gone and that's it. But the
First,
locals are going to determine.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You're a very understanding person.
I should, having owned a restaurant, Sandy.
Wow.
if you remember.
I kept a few of them in business. That's Frank.
It's not a business to go in unless you are a chef and come from a family of cooks and chefs and have very deep pockets.
And you
Otherwise,
have a business degree.
yes, that too. And or some kind of style, you know. Then you
Good
can have
evening.
a restaurant. Hi, Frank.
Hi there, guys. How you doing?
You're very yellow back there. You got a yellow room.
It might be jaundice. I'm not sure.
How's this, John?
No,
It's
not
reflect-
you.
There he is.
room.
Hello,
The-
Frank.
It's
road.
reflecting on the walls.
Somebody said the
So,
young town was sold. Anybody know anything?
What?
What's that?
I was told this morning that the Youngtown Inn may have been sold.
Oh,
Oh, it's sold finally? Wow.
It's 7 o'clock. Do we know if the applicant is on?
David,
And has anyone heard if Dick is going to be here this evening?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay.
I see two individuals that are logged on as attendees. One is listed as David and the other DVODA. I assume David is.
David Jones is the applicant.
Okay, when you're ready, let
Okay.
me know and I'll bring him over.
Do we bring them
Okay.
over before we call the meeting to order?
No, you can bring him over first because this is
really?
the official. Right.
Okay.
So would you like him?
Yes,
Oh,
Yes.
sorry, I missed that command.
sorry.
It's all right.
I want to remind the board that you guys voted for me, you know, so whatever happens, it's your fault.
Yay.
you better do a good job. Because I don't do a good job.
We won't blame you.
Sorry, Scott, you weren't here.
That's all right. I tried to be there.
I believe David's
I
on.
would have voted for you too.
Okay. So David is on. He's listening. We can't see him yet, but that's okay.
oh, Dick.
Here now. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
There
Okay,
he
so I
is.
have 7:01. And so I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'm Elizabeth Udi. This is the meeting of the Lincolnville Planning Board. And today is Wednesday, September 11th, 2020.
No.
No, it isn't.
September
September 8th.
8th.
Nine.
Ninth.
Nine.
Today is the 9th. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where's my brain? All right, today is September 9th, Wednesdays, 2020. Okay, this meeting is being held remotely via Zoom application. The public is welcome to observe through that application or through cable TV channel 22 or by watching it on YouTube like I do.
We're TV stars.
Ah,
And so now I'd like to ask the members of the board that are present to please identify themselves for the record. If you go alphabetically, we'll start with Dick, who's not here. So Janice,
Janice K., Lincolnville Center.
Sandy,
Sandy Delano, Youngtown Road.
and Scott.
and Scott Harrison, the Duck Trap Village.
Okay, so absent right now. Oh, wait, Dick is here.
I think I'm here. I think I'm here.
All of you who aren't here, please raise your hand.
We can't see Dick yet.
Thank you.
Okay, and we don't have any alternate members today. Jay is not going to be here. He did let me know several days ago that he had a prior commitment. So it's just us, but there are plenty of us. Okay, only one item on tonight's agenda, the application for an amendment to a previously approved existing commercial site plan. The Black Horse Inn at 2254 Atlantic Highway. Am I supposed to say it's map 13, lot 23? The applicant, Mr. David Jones, is requesting an amendment to allow the inn to host events such as family reunions, corporate events, weddings, and there was something else. Oh, you had retreats on there too.
Yeah, retreats.
Mr. Jones does not currently own the inn. He is hoping that we make a ruling before he actually purchased the property. Is that correct?
Yes.
Pre-application was last time we met, August 26th, and you all remembered that we used the famous 18.18 rule and reviewed the standards for those that we think are not applicable to this revision. And we eliminated most of them as having no impact on, that this revision will have no impact on those standards. So the applicable standards that we agreed and played with would be 11.2, which is parking and traffic, the noise, 12.3, and perhaps I have a question about 12.4, storage of materials, when that comes up. So the board voted that we should have the abutters noticed, sent letters, and I think I understand that Mr. Jones went above and beyond and sent out like 22 letters.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
And I spent about 4 hours in the post office with Brad.
Oh my gosh.
He said, if anybody doubts that I made those mailings, just call.
He'll vouch for you, huh?
Yeah.
So I guess at this time I can ask Frank to let us know what kind of responses he got to these letters.
We received 2 responses. I'll read you the first one. The first one is from Ellen Narat. And he said, my wife and I reside at 2240 Atlantic Highway next door to the inn and have done so since 2012 to 2013. One of the main reasons we purchased it was for the tranquil setting and nature. 6 years ago, the current owner held a wedding function at the inn, which is something we would never go through again. Cars banging, people's presence around him throughout the evening, rubbish been thrown onto our property, etc. Plus people that smoke a real hazard when our cabin is so close. Weddings are the one main event which goes on longer, as it's a one whole day thing. In fact, it goes longer than that, as you have before and after the event itself. But the one common denominator all functions have, and that apart from the car problem, is noise. As I'm sure you're all aware, the inn has no facility for containment of any function. That being the case, it has been done by the way of, to put it frankly, tents. That's the only way possible. Excuse me. In this area, I can assure all of the planning board, I have dealt with this in my early years of being involved with these type of functions over an 8-year period, from wedding to christenings and everything in between function-wise. And the one thing I can stand up and say, there is no possible way to avoid the noise levels that always go with these events. The event 6 years ago was just one of which I now find was illegal, but the principles are the exact same. It makes no effect on who owns the inn, which I might add has been an inn since its construction in the late 80s along the cabin. I don't think it is right or fair that we should be subject to other business practices bestowed upon us. It is also my view over time surrounding properties could face a devaluating situation, which again, I cannot say this is fair. One further point which I feel needs bringing to your attention, the law state, as I understand, it only homeowners up to 500 feet away are given any notification. Does the planning board think that sound stops at this distance? I can assure it doesn't. It travels, believe me. And I speak for the owners behind us, of which were very much affected by the last event and have no desire to go through that again at any level. I sincerely hope the board reads my above notes and give it a fair and honest hearing, as both my wife and myself have always been happy and hope to spend many of our years here. We love the spot we live in, and doesn't Maine have a saying it? I seem to remember life in Maine is the way life should be. I hope it is. I would hate to think we would be forced out by someone's business ethics. And in you, we trust to do the right thing. The second one was from his wife. Sorry. Yeah, so here we go. Mr. Terrio, I have thought for the past few years that nothing would be finer than to have Francesca Gigliatano to sell the Black Horse Inn and be gone from this area. She has caused a lot of expense and aggravation to my husband and myself. However, when we bought her home, it's not to be located next to wedding, retreats, conferences, or other activities. There is not adequate parking for large venues. The idea of music at any given day of the week or time, I am told, is allowed to midnight. And then the breakdown of said venues. These activities leading to large groups of people drinking, smoking, surrounded by woods with fire potential, and the general public with high probability of throwing their trash, cigarettes, etc., into the wood lines. As with a lot of the main population, you don't need air, excuse me, you don't need air to music large groups. You don't need air conditioning for the biggest percent of the year. And with that, you enjoy open windows. I do not want to have to listen. So therefore, I am definitely not in favor of this proposal. That's Crystal Narat. Those are the only letters I received.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
So it's my understanding now that we give Mr. Jones an opportunity to reply to these letters and hear his proposals for satisfying the complaints.
From what I understand, it isn't any big secret that that neighbor next door and the current owner are kind of at odds with one another. We're going to have the wedding in the back of the building, all right, which is where I specified on the outline drawings that I gave to you guys. So you got a whole building as a buffer. No doubt that there would be some carryover, but it's not like crazy parties. I mean, these are weddings. People get married all the time, and they get married at their homes. They get married, just about anywhere you can ever imagine. And usually people are joyous about people getting married. So we're not going to be out there 2 o'clock in the morning. I asked for only till midnight, and most of these things usually end at 11. So I would do anything I can to make people happy. I've always said you can please some of the people some of the time. You can't please all the people all the time. I sent out 22 letters to every single abutter, and the only one we got a negative response on was someone that I kind of anticipated that happening with. I don't want to make an enemy out of one. I have, I live my life peacefully. I don't want to get at odds. It's my goal is just to buy the place, have good people there renting it. And, I've got a little bit of a history in Lincolnville I own the Duck Trap Lodge, the homes at Duck Trap Retreat. And, Frank's been, witness to what I've done over there and how we run that place. And it's, very, very peaceful. We're not looking to turn this place into a slumber house for a bunch of drunks. So, we'll do whatever we can to make sure that, one second, that this neighbor is happy, and we will go out of our way to practice good neighbor policies, as I've always done my entire life. So what our plan is, how many weddings we're going to have and how many times a year we're going to have it. And, it's, there's a season where you can do it, and there's a season, most of the seasons where you can't do it. So we'll probably look at it summer weddings and, fall weddings, but no one's going to get married in the dead of winter out at the Black Horse Inn. So I don't think will be a problem most of the time. And even when we have the event, we'll do our best to make sure that everyone's happy. When you have the music in tents, I'm sure you guys have all been to weddings and they've had music in tents, right? It kind of buffers it quite a bit, right? You have no doubt that there's a wedding going on, but it's not like it's beating your door down. So, there's volume controls. If it gets out of control, we have telephones people can call and say, hey, look, it's a little loud. Can you turn it down? And, we'll do our best to make everybody happy.
Could I say something? This
Yes,
is Scott
please.
Harrison at the Duck Trap Motel. I'm a musician. I've played at several weddings in this area, and several of them in tents. And he's correct about the tent buffering the noise of music and stuff like that. But we always had to stop playing at 10 o'clock, and the wedding venue stopped at 11 to give people time to leave.
Mm.
And I can't see where that's going to be a giant problem for anybody. If somebody's already crossways, then they're always going to be crossways. If they had a retreat for priests, they'd complain.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can't see any problem with it.
can't,
Am
I
I
can't.
allowed to comment? Go ahead,
opinion,
Janice.
so.
Janice?
I'm just shocked that I know Alan, I know his wife. I didn't think that they were the kind of people that would even consider this a problem. Because I think they're far enough away from the Black Horse Inn. And like you say, Scott, every wedding I've gone to in Maine, the music stops at 10. Gives people another hour to have a cocktail or get in their cars or whatever. And they're gone by 11, 11:30 maybe. And then the little cleanup, how much noise does that make? So I'm really shocked that those neighbors were so negative. And I do think it's probably because of the previous owner who could have been a real problem for those two.
So, Mr. Jones, if I might ask, have you thought about putting together policies that would cover, it would be in writing, that your wedding party or your family reunion would know that you have policies set, what time music must end, et cetera. Also, how you would handle that, what their other complaint about so many people gathering in the parking lot and making noise and obviously being, rowdy in the parking lot. These are all things that you might be able to compromise with them if you had policies set down that we could review and see if.
Yeah,
Does that-
look, I mean, I think, Scott's right there as far as timelines. Band stops at 10, people pack up and out of there by 11:30. There's a big stockade fence between the property, their house and the inn already. There's a boatload of trees. I mean, there's a gazillion trees. I mean, so thick you can't even see through it. So they've got a pretty good sound screen already. Of course, my daughter-in-law is the one that will handle the wedding. She's went to college for event planning, so it's not anything new to her. She's really good at it and knows what she's doing, and put on many events in Colorado before she met my son and moved to Maine. So she's in charge of that. And, believe me, I don't want any complaints. I don't need any arguments with anybody. And, again, we'll just go out of our way to make sure people are happy. And it's not going to be anything out of the norm.
Right?
Well, David, I think what Elizabeth said is much more important than you think. And the point is, if the board went ahead and approved it, and you have not put in place any way of muffling the noise, that the hours were well, like 10 o'clock, and that there was not going to be any collection in the parking lot. The concern would be, if you don't have all these things documented, is when we get complaints from the police department. Once that starts, now we have to come to you and say, you've got a problem, how are you going to fix it?
Frank,
So if
you're
you do it-
100% right. I have no problem in putting together rules and giving them to you guys, subsequent to our approval. And you can make it part of the approval that I give you written rules. All right. Of course, we're going to have that anyway. And I'm sure it's something that there's already a template that's been done for other wedding events, place where they have weddings already. So we could just copy that. It's satisfied any neighbors in areas that have, weddings on a regular basis. And I'll submit it, and you guys can publish it, and that'll be it. So I'm fine with that. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, well,
If you set the standard, then everyone's happy. Right?
okay, and I think what we can do, Elizabeth, if you so inclined, we can review any areas that the board thinks should be reviewed to see if there's any consideration. And then what we should do is have David give us whatever plans that he has in mind to try to muffle the noise. Okay.
And this is,
And then,
you're referring to physical muffling, correct?
yes.
I'm not planning on putting up any sound barriers. All right. We've got, we're out in the middle. On one side, we have nothing but a bunch of land that's owned by the state of Maine. We've got the building that's going to be between my event and their home. And on top of that, they've got the trees on their side. Plus, they've got a barricade fence. It's, I think, 8 feet tall.
Mhm.
All right, that they put up because that neighbor and this current owner are at odds with one another. But I would definitely publish hours and rules that would say that we're going to stop at 10 o'clock with the music. I think it's a perfect time. I think that we go ahead and say that people are up and out of there by, 11, 11:30. All right. And that's it. I mean, really, but I would put it in writing. I think it's a good idea to set the standard.
I think it definitely needs to be in writing.
Yep.
And also your standards about your parking lot, let your guests know when you have a really large event that, obviously they need to come and go to their cars, but
Right.
not to congregate in the parking lot.
Well, the
How
parking
do you
lots made
enforce
the
that?
whole- the parking lots made the whole, like almost 100 cars, for God's sake, you could fit out there.
Mhm.
I don't think we're ever going to get to that. This is Lincolnville,
Well,
Maine.
apparently it got there before.
I don't know. That was a really small wedding.
Okay.
All right. So, and there was very few people there. There was pictures of it that I found. It was not a big event at all. I just think, again, it's, two people that don't get along at all. So, but it was not a big event at all. So, I have 20 rooms in the hotel, all right, which means you're going to have 20 guests that are staying in the hotel. You're going to have people that'll go to the lounge afterwards inside the hotel, all right, and have a drink or two like everyone does at a wedding after everyone gets married and talks to, back in my day stuff. And then, people are going to leave, how people leave weddings. So, I don't think there's going to be any, I really don't think we're going to have an issue, but I will write that down. I don't think there's any necessity for additional sound barriers by any means. I think we got Mother
you
Nature
see,
there. Yeah.
there may not be now, but if we start getting the complaints that the police have been called, then an additional step would have to be taken, Dave.
I agree.
David, how many weddings are you anticipating?
I have no idea. Look, all this, I could end up having one or two, I mean, I just don't know, but it's just something that when you're at the Black Horse Inn and you're standing there and you're looking at it, you say, wow, what a perfect place to have a wedding. So, I mean, it's not like I've got, hundreds of weddings booked. We only have 16 weeks out of the year where it's probably feasible to have a wedding. All right. Unless everybody's going to be out there dressed as Eskimos, but, so, I don't know, best case scenario, you're going to have anywhere between 5 and 10 weddings, I guess. I don't know if we're lucky. Right? Yeah.
For sake
It takes a lot
of,
of planning, I didn't realize how much planning went into doing one of these things. When you look at it, she's explained it to me. I mean, so there's all kinds of things you got to coordinate, and the cakes and the catering and all that stuff. So I just say that, hopefully we have 10, but 10 weddings in the summertime is a lot of weddings.
One thing that might help you is if, like sort of a segue to increase the relationship between you and the neighbor, is anytime a wedding is coming, that you notify the neighbor, specifically that neighbor, to anticipate that it's coming, and that takes a big edge off it. If they have the
I have no problem
anticipation.
notifying them. Look, I'll go over and shake their hand too. I haven't done that, because, I don't own the place yet, but anybody when I bought the homes at Duck Trap Retreat, I know everybody, we all get along. It's a fantastic group of people. And I've been building those condominiums and selling them in there and bringing some more residents into the town of Lincolnville. And everyone seems to be really happy and at peace. I have a pretty high standard of maintenance. I like things to look good and be clean. And if you've been in Duck Trap, Frank, you have been since I bought it. It's night and day from where it was. Place looks fantastic. So I'm going to do the same thing with Black Horse. It'll be a great place for Lincolnville, something the town of Lincolnville could be proud of. All the grounds will be maintained, the lighting, the building, the rooms. So it'll be a nice place. It'll be just as nice as the homes at Duck Trap.
Sandy, did you have something?
hypothetical question, if we did receive complaints, what would you do at that point? Are you prepared to put up physical barriers or take other steps to correct it?
Yeah, I mean, anything within reason. I mean, if someone just has it out and they're being ridiculous, so you guys will be able to see that. You're all sensible folks, and when someone's just being a pig in a poke. But if someone's got a legitimate gripe, of course.
Okay.
But I don't think they will.
All
right.
Will you have any type of Would you have any type of security force during weddings?
Security? Like what?
Security, right? Like someone
Like-
that's, if somebody's getting out of hand, you have someone that's there that brings them under control.
Well, when you serve alcohol in the state of Maine, I used to own a restaurant up in Bingham, Maine. That was the Moose Alley Inn. And so the bartender and the owners have tremendous liability when you're handling alcohol. So you've got to really, and the bartenders in the state of Maine are liable if they overserve someone in the state. So I'm very aware of the rules and regulations when it comes to handling alcohol. My father was a bartender. My mother was a waitress. So I was raised in that environment. I know someone when they're drunk, I can almost, spot them a mile away. But you just have to be careful when you're handling alcohol. And so there's procedures in handling it. And you see someone's over, you flag them and they're done.
Okay,
So, and yes,
well,
and we've done in the past, we've taken keys from people and had them driven home. There's it's human nature. People do get drunk sometimes. But
right.
hopefully
So
you take the keys from them, they're not behind the wheel of a car. Or you put them in a room and let them sleep it up.
Frank, I'm sorry, you had something to say?
yeah, one of the examples I have in mind is you're going to be pointing out there shouldn't be any clustering in the parking lot after. What are you going to do in the event that you have 4 or 5 people out there and you do talk loud at the end of a wedding and drinking? You have any plans to cycle that?
Well, there'll be staff hired to supervise the wedding, right? Wait staff, and they'll be given instructions that there's, no rowdiness around the property. But we don't want, we don't want to get into a situation where people are being rowdy, and we're not going to.
Okay, well,
We just won't tolerate it.
If you could increase all of this in the documentation that we can review the next time, that would be very helpful.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Have you considered also, are you going to limit attendance at all? If someone wants a wedding with 500 people, how do you handle that?
Not happening.
But you do need to have that in writing. You need to be able to tell people it's your policy or not your policy.
Yeah.
How many cars can you accommodate in your parking area? And
It's a
what
big-
will you do about monitoring parking as people are coming in? All
Yeah.
these things have to be thought about for us to make a decision.
Well, I don't know about it's just protocol. I mean, it's no different than when you get a subdivision approval, right?
No, those things are all in writing.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
all official in writing.
All we're asking is that we're able to hold weddings, right? It's not, they already serve alcohol there. They already have a liquor license there. They already have the ability to put 40, 50 cars in the parking lot. The only difference is that people will be coming as a group instead of onesies and twosies. That's really the only thing that's changing here. I'm not
Noise
going to
level.
do daily. I'm not even sure I'm going to do daily rents.
Yeah.
I'm going to be running it as a hotel. I don't want to deal with that kind of traffic. All right. So we're trying to put together events. It's concentrated. It's clean. It's done well. And, that's how I see it going down.
I appreciate your confidence in that, but you understand how the community, it's really not a wedding you're hosting. You're hosting a party. If it were just a wedding, it's hello, I do, and everyone's all benign and sweet. But obviously it doesn't stay that way. And the band is not part of a wedding. It's part of the reception and the party afterwards. So that's what you're asking for, these events that might disturb your neighbors. And we just need to know you've got some policies thought about. You're going to put it in writing and help us out.
Sure.
All right,
So
guys.
You want to review what the other items were?
Yes.
And
I touched lightly on one, which would be parking. You did mention 100 cars. So again, it would be on you to have someone to make sure they're not parking out on Route 1 if it gets to be too many cars,
Yeah,
or on your driveway.
We would have valet there. Yeah,
Great. Oh, that's good. That's very good.
If an event like that, you have to have valet because you can't, park things, without.
That's a good idea. So they'd actually be parking for people who then come up to the building.
Right. And then we can also, when you do that, you see if someone's hammered, all right, and they drink too much, you just say, sorry, but you're not getting the keys. Who do you have to drop the car? Right.
Yep.
But,
And then, so we have lighting, which I think you did address. You won't be adding any ambient lighting or
None, no,
upward lighting.
nope,
Most of that lighting will be under the tents.
correct.
And there was another, and it had to do with the storage and materials. I'm assuming, I'm sorry, I did notice the other day, the dumpster that's on the driveway. I assume that's a temporary thing.
That's been there for years.
Has it?
Yes.
There is, that is,
Dumpster on the drive.
it's on the driveway.
But listen, that's been part of an ongoing battle.
Oh,
That
okay.
was-
This is part of the feud that's going on between the current owner
Yeah.
and the neighbor that got the sent you the letters.
I'm sure that will move once David owns it.
Okay, very good, because that is addressed in 12.4. So, and that was all I had, those three issues. Anybody else have anything?
No.
No,
Hi, Dick, we
Oh.
see your face now.
there he is. I can't see a big problem if he has to add buffers. You can do that as simply as stacking hay bales around the back of the band area.
Simple,
And
yeah,
you'd
you're
be
right. I've seen that.
surprised what you cannot hear behind a stack of hay.
Absolutely.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
So what do we need now? A motion to,
I would make a motion that contingent to the rules that David writes down, that we, would approve this, as long as the rules he writes down cover all the issues we've talked about and all the issues somebody would have come up, like the valet parking, the noise, thing, the excessive light, things like that. As long as that's that in writing, I can't see that there would be a problem. But I would make that motion that it's contingent on the rules he set down and would deliver to Frank, and for us to
Well,
review.
Okay. Yeah, at the next planning board meeting. Right.
Yes, so
so,
I make that motion.
I second the motion.
and if I can clarify, are we going to be approving this whole plan tonight or waiting till we review this document?
It's going to be, the approval will be contingent upon what is presented at the
Yeah.
next planning
next
board
meeting.
meeting.
Okay,
I mean,
Right,
if
and there's no
we
need to
agree
re-
with the product he
Right.
gives us, then I would say yes, it
Right.
would be approved at that time.
So there's no need to review anything at the next meeting except review what he puts together as what the plans are for keeping things.
Except his rules and regulations for his
his
events.
policies, yeah,
I can probably have that to you pretty quick.
that would be
Sound
great.
reasonable to you,
There's a
David?
template, I'm sure, that I can put my hands on for people that have done this. I'm not reinventing the wheel here.
Right.
I want you guys to be happy. And I think it's really important that we have this, in writing.
Well, it's important we're happy because
Give it
Frank
the letter.
reminds me that once we approve this, others still have up to 30 days to challenge us and appeal it. And by that point, you're already an owner and you're not going to be very happy if everything gets reversed. So,
Well, let's, we've tried to dot all our i's and cross all our t's. Again, you guys don't want to get anybody upset. I don't want to get anybody upset. I don't want to be stressed out of anything else.
No.
Big enough task taking it on and making it what it's not. So, we've done the right thing. We noticed every single person around. The one person that I did expect to get a letter from, unfortunately, they held true to because I know about the battle, all right? But no one else responded negatively about it at all. So I think as a whole, in our country, a majority rules, right? And,
Right.
But
Last
David,
time-
it only
last time I-
takes, it only takes one broken gear and the whole thing to make the thing stop.
I get you. Yeah, yeah.
It
Which
may
is
be
why you
one
try-
person, but that
Yeah. You try and make
carries a lot
sure,
of weight.
you try and make sure that you appease everyone you can. My father always said, you can please some of the people some of the time. You can't please all the people all the time.
so we have a motion by Scott, and I believe it was seconded by Janice.
Yes.
So all in favor of that motion to wait until the next meeting to approve based on or contingent upon Mr. Jones' submission of his policies and proposals? Say aye and raise your hand.
You need to call by name because you're
Yeah.
on
I'm
Zoom.
sorry. Scott,
Roll call.
Aye.
Janice,
I,
Sandy,
Yes.
and Dick.
Aye.
Me too.
Unanimous.
And again, this is not approval for the whole project yet, but it is based on us getting to review all that next week or next meeting, right?
And the next meeting is
The
Me too.
30th of June,
30th?
of September.
Okay.
June.
But
Hey, that's wedding month.
Pushing it out there.
Yeah.
How many
No,
weddings next June?
Yeah, we'll be fine. I should have some, Frank, I'll get it to you right away. I'm just going to go online. I'm going to find standard rules that have been published by another town for an event like this, a location like this, and give them to you guys, and hopefully you'll give them their blessing and we'll be done.
That would be
And
great.
they'll have time to review it before the next meeting, so everyone will know what they are.
Okay.
Elizabeth left an excellent job on your first chair.
Thank you very much. I do have a couple things I'd like to talk to the board about, if I may.
All right, well, I
Just
can
real
go
quick.
then, right?
Yes, you can. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Bye,
We'll see
David.
you in a
Very
couple
much.
weeks.
And thank you for your time tonight.
Back to Davy.
Thank
Meet
you.
you all in person sometime. All right.
Back,
All right.
back to Davy Jones' locker.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
leaving,
got it.
I'm leaving unless
I
you
never
need me,
heard that
Elizabeth.
before.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks, Frank.
All right.
Good night, all.
Good
night.
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 I emailed most of you. Scott, I didn't email you. I didn't realize yet that you were still officially on the board, and I'm so glad that you are. In reference to the workshops that are available to us through, you know who, the Maine Association, Maine Municipal Association. Dave Kenny emailed me and said that one option we would have would be that he could arrange for a similar type of session just for us with the town's attorney. And that, as Dave said, it would be beneficial because it would cover the basics, and it could also be on point, named directly at our ordinances, and something that I as chair could say the word and share blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I can let him know if you guys are interested in that. And I did hear back from both Sandy and Dick that they could be available most any time. Does that sound like something to be interesting to the others of you, or would you prefer to wait till the next one where you can drive to Augusta or somewhere?
No, that would be interest to me because I can't get away to go to Augusta or anywhere.
Right.
To
right.
Scott,
Yeah. I know, I see you.
I mean, when you own a motel, you're pretty much chained to the door.
Right. Janice, would you be interested in attending?
Is it a Zoom type meeting?
You know, I don't know. It's gonna, I guess, suppose, I don't know if David can answer that right now. It depends on how we feel about each other being in the same room with this attorney. So what do you think? David?
Right now, the board's direction is that we're not to have in-person meetings. But depending on if that changes as time goes on, if the pandemic gets a little better situation, we go with that. I mean, I don't know how quickly we would want, or you would want to arrange for this meeting.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to be
Certainly,
immediate,
if we're
right?
gonna have, yeah, no, it's up to you folks, within reason, obviously. The town attorney might prefer to attend via Zoom or some remote setting, but she's more than willing to travel here as well. So we might want to try to do it before winter, obviously.
Oh, okay. Where is she?
The town attorney is located in Portland.
Oh,
I mean,
I don't want to,
Oops, it was
I'll do,
frozen.
that's all.
Okay.
I'm coming to any meetings or going to any buildings,
Okay,
not my policy. So I would be happy to attend the Zoom meeting, Elizabeth.
great, great.
Yeah, Zoom would be okay.
Okay, we'll chat about that some more.
Okay.
So anything else?
minutes.
Nope.
Which minutes do we still need to approve?
July 29th and last meeting, which is the August 26th.
Okay. Did we have minutes? Oh, yes. Do we have minutes for the
They're
26th?
online. They're
Oh, they're
online. We
online.
emailed you.
I did see the others. And I am not sure how to proceed here.
Well, unfortunately, on June 29th, there were 3 people, and that was Jay, Sandy, and Janice. So technically, that's not a quorum. And that's been the problem. That's why they're still outstanding.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you want to do from this point on.
Would you guys want to wait until our next meeting and maybe Jay can attend?
I
Where
think
there
that
would
would
be-
be a good idea since
Okay.
Jay was involved in those minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. We're going to put it off again. Thank you.
Okay, but August 26th,
Oh, that's the
Janice,
2 weeks ago.
Sandy, Elizabeth, and Dick, you were all here, so you can approve them.
Did anyone else look at them? Because I confess I did not.
I glanced at them. didn't see it.
I looked at them as well. I didn't see any problem with them.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the meetings from August? Thank you.
Roll call.
Elizabeth, Janice, Dick, and Sandy, and myself all said yes.
Yes.
I wish I'd known because I went back and watched the whole video from our last meeting.
Ooh,
Wow.
Okay. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
I'll
I-
second.
All in favor, raise your hands.
Who seconded?
Scott,
Scott did.
Did Scott.
And Scott, how do you vote
well, for what?
for adjourning?
Oh, yes, I'm in agreement.
Janice,
Yeah.
Dick,
Yes,
and Sandy.
yes.
5, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night, you guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. So how do I turn it
Do it.
off?
And
Leave.
just